Welcome to Here's My Thing, everybody. My name is Frankie Salazar, and boy, oh boy, is Snoop Dogg making headlines yet again. So, the former Crip and gang member rapper is making headlines for, you're never gonna guess. Well, I guess you are because I'm covering this topic so late after it already kind of happened, but I just kind of want to give my thoughts on it because I find it to be absolutely crazy. And I'm scrolling there on X, right? And I see a gentleman named Dom Lucre, or Lucre, or whatever. I don't even know how the hell to pronounce it. But he posted something saying, breaking! The LGBTQ community is furious with legendary rapper Snoop Dogg after he said he's, quote, scared to go to the movies after watching Disney's Lightyear film with his grandson and seeing an LGBTQ plus couple, with Snoop saying in the video, which we're going to play in just a minute here, quote, I didn't come here for this shit. I just came to watch the goddamn movie. So in the clip, Snoop Dogg is in a podcast, and he's kind of talking about his experience of when he took his grandson to see the Disney movie Lightyear, which was a spin-off of Buzz Lightyear, one of the main characters in the Toy Story franchise. Now, for those of you who saw that movie, I was absolutely devastated at it. I mean, I cried like a baby at that movie because I am a soft little bitch of a man. But all that aside, I thought it had a really good story. But for those of you that remember, it made headlines a long time ago because it featured a lesbian couple in the film. And in doing so, back then, people had boycotted Disney, and that was hands down the single worst release and lowest grossing animated film that Pixar had ever had to date back then. And in the clip, Snoop is just kind of explaining to the interviewer, that he was shocked that there was an LGBTQ couple in there, and his grandson had prompted him with the question of something to the effect of, well, how could they have a kid if they're lesbians, Grandpa? And Snoop just kind of he was kind of just more or less like taken aback. He's like, well, that's a good question, I kind of don't have an answer because human biology will tell you that two lesbians cannot have a child naturally. So just to go ahead and get exactly what he had to say, go ahead and take a look at the clip for yourself.
I took my grandson to see what was the movie with Buzz Light?
Toy Story?
Not that one, but
the new Buzz, the Lightyear. I think it's called Lightyear.
Yeah, with Keke Palmer's in that movie.
Okay.
She plays like the daughter. So we watching it, and the lady, which is Kiki's mama, they move on into the space years. They move down the line. They're like, man, she had a baby with a woman. Well, my grandson in the middle of the movie like, Papa Snoop, how she have a baby with a woman? She a woman. Oh, shit. I didn't come in for this shit. I just came to watch the goddamn movie. Hey, man, watch the movie. They just said she had a baby. They both women's. How did she have a baby? Shh. The movie ain't over with. So it's like, fuck me. I'm scared to go to the movies now. Like, y'all throwing me in the middle of shit that I don't have an answer for. It threw me for a loop. These are kids that we have to show that at this age, like,
that part.
They're going to ask questions.
Yeah.
They are going to ask. I don't have the answer.
So, after that clip had made headlines, people flooded the comments with the attempt of trying to get Snoop Dogg canceled, which, you know what, we're going to save that for Here's My Thing. But what I mean by that is people took in the thousands to try to get him canceled, saying that he should have just explained to his grandson that, well, they probably could have just adopted a kid, or he shouldn't have been offensive in his delivery about an LGBT couple, or he needs to get in more with the times, and we need to get rid of Snoop Dogg, and he's a raging homophobic piece of shit, right? Well, here's the problem. Snoop Dogg, after having felt the heat, takes to Twitter to make an apology. Now, I'm going to go ahead and try to find the tweet because where I had originally found it was actually as I was scrolling on Instagram, and I saw that TMZ had posted it initially, but when I tried to like it or save it or repost it, I was unable to, and when I went to their actual page, it was already gone. So TMZ's already since taken away their piece that they did on the whole controversy. But it says here in big bold, I was able to screenshot it before it got deleted, quote, Snoop Dogg says he isn't homophobic and asks people to teach him. And in the apology, he says, I was caught off guard and had no answer for my grandson. All my gay friends know what's up. They've been calling me with love. My bad for not knowing the answers for a 6-year-old. Teach me how to learn. I am not perfect. Now, here's my thing. Okay, we're just going to get into it early today, because what I'm having a hard time understanding is that people today do not understand that if it wasn't for this psychopathic movement that we saw after COVID, Snoop Dogg would not be issuing a public apology like this, okay? In fact, he would have probably called for, like, horrific things to happen to gay people back then. I think as he's gotten older and he's made a lot more friendships and he's gotten a lot more wiser, he wasn't trying to be inherently homophobic. He was literally just saying that he was caught off guard. And we have to understand, Snoop Dogg is of an older generation. This new concept of the LGBTQ and all that stuff is something that is new to him. And I honestly felt bad because I understood what he was saying, even though it may have been in bad taste, or maybe he was ill-informed of, what to expect about the movie. Again, people, we have to look at somebody's intentions. Do we believe for 1 second that after he made that comment of, man, I'm not trying to see this shit, I don't want to answer this question to my grandson, that he's literally over here actively trying to harm gay people, of which I am in said community? And you're going to look me in my eyes and get mad at me for that take, because it just doesn't compute in my brain, because I'm looking at this as a critically thinking person and thinking to myself, well, Snoop Dogg, who is a former Crip, who was literally charged in the murder of people before, okay? A gangster. I just keep, having to hone in on that. Is taking to, this looks like Instagram or Twitter, actually. I'm going to have to try to find it for you guys. But he's taking to some kind of social media platform and using pink heart emojis and surprised emojis and doggy feet emojis and all this stuff, saying that he wants to learn and he's not perfect and had to literally get the okay from his gay friends and associates to actually feel better about this situation, okay? We bullied, and by we, I mean you, bullied a former Crip into making an apology about a non-controversial thing he said in a podcast about a lesbian couple in an animated film. Can we think about this for a second, people? I don't understand what's going on here. And that's the thing. With the essence of how everything's going, I just don't understand, why he would even have to feel obligated to do something like that. And it just blows my mind. But in a way, I'm glad that he did, because whether he was covering his ass or he was just being disingenuous about it, or you don't actually believe his apology and still want him canceled, number one, he's worth upwards of $400 million and hasn't had a major, thing for him since, the inception of his rap career. So it's not like he's got a whole lot going for him anyway. But the absolute craziest part about this cancel culture madness is that it says here that the, quote, network bosses of The Voice, of which he's only been a judge for about 1 season now, were, quote, furious over the homophobic comments that he made and have since decided to terminate his contract as being a judge on the show. Despite all of the attention that they may have gotten him, despite all of the notoriety they may have got from using his name, despite all of the young aspiring rappers and singers that he may or may not have assisted on the show, they're going to can him. And this is just according to Google AI. It says, according to a Yahoo report on August 27th, 2025, so just a few days ago as of filming, the network bosses were furious about the comments that he made about same-sex couples. And it said that they were going to get rid of him anyway because of, quote, messy drama and all of this stuff from Snoop Dogg. It's just absolutely crazy to me. And this is why when I said that I feel as though cancel culture does more harm than it does good. And I feel like that's just an irrefutable thing that we cannot even debate on. I mean, I'm happy to have the debate, I'm just saying, but it's just like that's where I stand on the topic, because it's just like, what did you get out of that? Just getting somebody's whole life upended because you were offended at something that was objectively not the most offensive thing somebody has ever said, just because they may or may not agree with you either politically or ideologically, religiously, whatever it is. You sleep good at night knowing that you just got a portion of this man's life ended. Now, like I said, at the end of the day, what these people don't understand is that in order to kind of be canceled, right, to kind of have that huge fall from grace, you kind of already have to be a well-established, like, wealthy person. Nobody is sitting here canceling somebody with 15,000 subscribers. Nobody. Because they don't know you. They don't care enough. And the people that are going to give you a platform or a voice to try to cancel you enough are probably not even big enough to have ever heard of you. So we have a gentleman here who is in his, what is he in, his 60s? Worth $400 million, who has already had a career spanning decades, who's just kind of doing side quests right now. Having them ripped from him is not going to end his life. So that's all I have to say on this topic today. It was absolutely madness, and at the end of the day, this has been Here's My Thing starring Frankie Salazar. As always, I would love to hear your thing on the entire controversy, so please, wherever you're seeing this clip, sound off below in the comments and debate me on the topic, because I would absolutely love it. Or if you agree with me, I'd absolutely love to hear that too. And as always, remember to subscribe to become a baby Frank, and I will see you guys in the next one. Mwah.